All right, another good night of college basketball. In this video, we are going to focus a recap on Virginia Tech and Iowa, as that is the game that I have watched. Now, the first part, I was able to watch like the first quarter, and then the live streamer, bless their heart, they put up that little black box, but it wasn't too black, so I could sort of look in and make out the players. So I was able to see what happened. So this recap is brought to you by that streamer who put it up there. Now, overall, obviously, Iowa won the game 80-76, and it was a good game. Wasn't a great game, but it was a good game. And I want to break this video down into winners and losers because I do think Virginia Tech had a few wins even though it was a loss. So let's get into this. So the first winner I have is actually back to sports. Yes, I get it wrong a lot. Like LSU is damn scary and then they get their asses kicked, or I tell you how Diamond Miller should be picked over Aaliyah Boston. Yes, but I own my mistakes and I still have hope on that one. Come on, Diamond, get your outside shot. But anyway, this one I did have right, and obviously Lisa Bluter watches back to sport because before the game we heard that she was going to go small as Molly Davis was in the starting lineup and they would have Stolke playing the 5. Now in this preseason video we outlined that's exactly what Iowa needed to do, and sure enough she listened to an under 10 coach, because if you can coach under 10s you can coach college and pro basketball, because it's like herding kittens, trust me. But really, Stolke at the 5 just looks so good because it actually looks better for Iowa almost in some ways than Sonano last year, because she is so quick getting to the basket. She can slip. She's a real good rim runner, and she still offers the ability to throw picks. And as well, it gives them the flexibility to go big to O'Grady or Gooden if they want. So you are the big winner, Iowa, because it's clear that you have tools to go back to the Final Four. Now, I didn't mention that preview video. I sort of said Iowa was like my Houston Cougars when they lost to NC State, and it was childhood trauma. No, I was totally wrong on that. So to be honest, I really had the video wrong. I think Iowa has a chance to make it back to the Final Four because they have all the parts. I have no doubt that Bluter will continue to mix and match, as I suspect ultimately Kylie Feuerbach will go into the starting lineup over Molly Davis as she offers a bit more size, but to be determined. The other winner were stars. Yes, the stars are bright at night, and that was on display as Clark and Amoore delivered. They both had good games. I mean, Clark did not have a great shooting night, to be honest. I mean, she was 13 for 31, not too bad. But from three-point line, she was 5 of 16, but she went for 44 points, and she really controlled the game. Like, she just kept on getting them in foul trouble and just going to the basket at will, and just really, she controlled the game. As well, Amoore basically kept Virginia Tech in the game to a large degree. I thought early on in the first quarter, oh man, I thought they might get blown out for a bit and Iowa was just going to take control, and she brought them back into it. Her off the mid-range, like off picks getting to the basket, her shot was strangely flat, but man, when she does her step back and goes to the left, it is just deadly. You can tell she's comfortable, and she obviously went for a hell of a lot of points. She went 10 for 23 from the field, 7 of 14 from three-point land, and overall 31 points. So that, I mean, she pretty much kept them in it. Nobody else. Let's see. Kitley had 16, and she got warmed up a bit in the second half, but really it was Amoore that kept them in this thing. The other big winner, I thought, was Kenny Brooks for taking this game on in the first place. I told you in the preview video that he was a bit nervous about it because he knew he had so many incoming transfers, and he knew it was going to be a process to gel, and that was right. I thought he did a good job of keeping Virginia Tech in the game. He sort of managed a Belichick-type game. I thought he used his timeouts really well, in the first quarter. He called them in and had them slow it down and went to specific plays. Again, in the third, it looked like Iowa was going to make a run. Once again, he called them in and ran a nice play coming out of the huddle and sort of settled them down. The other thing I like with Brooks is if he has a play going, he'll go back to it. So when Amoore was they would threaten Amoore with the pick, like she would act like she was going to go right, and the defender has to worry about that. And then that sets up her crossover for sort of like the step back to the left 3-point shot, and he just said, yeah, just keep on running that. That's fine. If it's working, and I love that. If it's working, then just keep on going with it. Don't get too fancy with it. Don't go Pete Carroll. I mean, if your running back's getting 5 yards a pop, then don't throw it on the goal line. Now for the losers. Now everybody's a winner. We have to say that these days. Everybody's a winner, but yes, there were some losers. The first one would be the Virginia Tech transfers. They did not have a great night. Eck did not have a good shooting night. Going 3 for 11 from the field, which included 1 from 7 from the 3-point line. And then on defense, it was like they were picking on her at times. Yeah, it's a tough task guarding Caitlin Clark, but yeah, it did not look good, that's for sure. And to be fair, it wasn't all Eck's fault on defense. They had terrible pick and roll defense, just a lot of miscommunication. There was one where I can't remember who it was, but basically they just left Caitlin Clark open, and Brooks is just like, what are we doing? That's the player you don't want to leave open. Their other starter they got from the transfer portal, Rose Mishaw, as well. Like, she's supposed to get rebounds. She didn't get any. She got 1 rebound and no points. And she was limited to 8 minutes. So, yeah, it wasn't a great debut for the transfers. Oh, I meant to mention as well before, in winners, Winslow for Virginia Tech as well. She had a nice little debut. She went 4 for 4 and 11 points. So that's a good, promising thing from the freshman. And Brooks is going to continue to mix this. It's a potion. You expect these guys, and that was the thing. There were going to be sort of gelling issues with this team, and that's what you sort of saw tonight. You hope they go back into the gym and they sort of work it out, and over time they'll gel and get better and better and be ready for the tournament. Now, the other loser was the better. Yes, the poor better. If you had Iowa minus 4.5, that was a bad beat as Amoore came down and hit the 3, essentially a garbage time shot, if you like. I know they still had a chance, but still, that would have broken your heart because the spread was minus 4.5, and there you go. Hopefully you made your money back by taking the over, which I think it was 148.5, and obviously they got 156. So hopefully you didn't lose too much. The poor better out there on that killer shot by Amoore at the end. The other thing I still can't get my head around, and I mentioned this in the preview video, Elizabeth Kitley is plus 3,000 for the Wooden Award, but Amoore is not on there. That's another loser. If you have your money on Kitley to win the Wooden Award, you're a loser because there's no chance. She's not the MVP on her team. I think it's pretty apparent. Kitley's good, don't get me wrong, and she was solid towards the end and things like that, but Amoore is the star of that team. If anybody's getting the Wooden Award on Virginia Tech, it is Amoore. By all means, Virginia Tech fans, tell me in the comments if I have this wrong. Who would be your MVP or your preseason MVP if you like? Would you put your money down on Amoore or Kitley? And lastly, Iowa fans, do you think Bluder will keep the starting lineup as is? Do you think this is going to be the long-term lineup? Do you think she'll continue to go small? Or do you see her going back to Goodman as well? Do you see Molly Davis hanging on to the starting position? Or do you see Feuerbach ultimately becoming one of the starters if they do go small? Anyway, your comments below. Thanks a lot for watching. Happy to have your comments and poison and corrections. It's very helpful. And again, thanks a lot for watching. Good night.